And now she goes back to Illinois. And now that's been 3 weeks in a row. Now, I, as a aspiring competitive athlete, I have a race the following weekend. Now, I haven't seen my friends in weeks. I haven't gotten on my own bike in weeks. I've done no training really, and I've got a race that's, a week later. And I said, Sarah, this weekend I really need to focus. Like, I actually had to say, you cannot come this weekend. I gotta get on my bike, I've gotta ride, I've blown off all of my friends, I have a girlfriend that's getting married, I have been the worst girlfriend, I missed all of the dress fittings, I missed all of the, girl parties, I need to, focus this weekend. She said, oh no, I understand completely. And I'll never forget that Friday afternoon, at around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, she sent me a message saying, I didn't want to bother you, but I've got something going on. Well, what's going on, Sarah?
On the boat.
Nope, I was outside the gym.
Oh.
And she said, well, I didn't want to worry you. She said, but James, my husband, he has a woman that's enamored with him. And I said, well, tell me more what you're talking about. And she said, yeah, this woman is in love with him and obsessed with him, and, she's not taking no for an answer, and she's sending me threatening messages. She's telling me that after I go, they're going to be together, and that I'm not pretty enough for him, and that she knows how to fake a death and hide a body. Now, in hindsight, it feels silly to say that, but in one of those really deep moments in our backyard where we were kind of sharing a lot about each other's lives, I had told her that I was 19 years old. A girlfriend of mine was stalked and killed by her boyfriend. She was threatened, and he showed up, in front of, hundreds of people and shot her, then shot himself. So she knew that that was traumatizing to me. So I said, Sarah, you need to call the police right now. We're not messing around with this. I said, you need to go right now, and you call the police in Highland. You tell them what's going on. And she said, okay, I will. And I went about my run, which probably lasted about 40 minutes. When I came back, she told me that the Highland police were at her house, and they brought in the FBI now because the stalker apparently had a very long criminal history that involved violence, possibly an aunt that was a mysterious, death that they were investigating, and really shady past, and that this woman was, potentially violent. So now, of course, I am really, really engaged, anxious, fearful, stressed. I'm now in Florida. She's in Illinois, my friend, who I would already lay down in front of a train for, telling me that she's being stalked. And I'm like, I've lived this nightmare before. I saw how it ended. And, to make a really long story short, she spent the next 72 hours, every hour, on the phone with me, talking about, well, I'm at the gym and I see her. She's parked outside the gym, and, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, you need to run for help. And, it was very high drama the whole weekend. At one point, James, her husband, messaged me saying she's locked in the bathroom. She's taken the baby and I can't get her out. She's having an anxiety attack. The baby is screaming. I don't know what to do. You're the only one that can talk to her. You're the only person. And of course, there was the added drama of the husband saying, I wish I could do what you do for her. Really pulling at my heartstrings. And I said, I understand, sometimes it's not easy to reach out to your husband. Let me talk to her. And literally for hours, 3-4 hours, we'd be on the phone. And she'd say, thank you, I didn't know what to do. I knew you were the only one that could help me. Now this whole weekend, I am so focused just on this stalking and the lover of the husband and the FBI and the
This is not
possible violence. The woman also had a Facebook page, and now she's communicating with me, the stalker.
And it kind of goes back to what you're saying, where it's such a, I forget how you phrase it, like an interesting thing, almost laughable when you're looking at it from the outside in.
Yeah.
And it's just so very different when it happens slowly. I mean, I would say it's like a boa constrictor.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, oh, it's just so slow, and eventually it just becomes tighter and tighter, and then by that point in time,
That's a really good way of putting
that's
it.
kind of how it felt.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember during that particular weekend, you know, I'm like, well, things don't add up, but you just sort of shrug them off, be like, well, people aren't, you know, we're not well versed in law enforcement, and I'm like, it's
Right.
probably not really, that's not how it really worked, but it's, you know, kind of like a game of Chinese telephone, and things are just being said incorrectly. So
I
you're
think
like,
at that
fine.
point, our emotions were more involved than our sense. We had let everything go and said, we are just all in on this girl. We've got to protect her, you know, and she's captured our hearts and our life in every way. We are completely wrapped around this situation. And, you know, that weekend, every single hour was devoted to this. And it came to a peak Sunday night, when she told me that the FBI couldn't find the girl. She had abandoned her car. They found the car. They didn't know where she was, but they were looking for her. And they wanted to use Sarah as bait to lure this woman out, that she felt that criminal profilers had said that, you know, looking at her character, her next move would be violent. So they wanted to use Sarah as bait to lure her out, and her task was to leave her home, do simple errands around the town of Highland, and then go to the Highland Walmart and just walk around like she was shopping and then go home. And they thought that that would bring this woman out of hiding. And of course, Sarah couldn't do that because of her anxiety without me. So we set up a time that we were going to FaceTime, and I was going to talk her through this, help her get in the car, help her drive through the streets of Highland, help her walk through the store, and, you know, act as like nothing was wrong. So we did that. We set up a time, and for an hour, I, you know, hoped to talk her down, if you will, while she was driving around, a nervous wreck, anxious, worried about this stalker. Where was she? Was she in danger? And
This is an actress.
oh, well, you don't even know.
Truly.
Oh, you don't know this. You're now hearing a month of her life. This her span is 20 years. This you're hearing 1 month of this woman's life. So as she's walking around the Walmart in Highland, you know, just looking at stuff, and I'm like, oh, you know, kind of keeping it light, like, don't be worried. She said, I don't see any police here. I said, well, Sarah, they're in plain clothes, obviously. They, you know, they're not out there. They're hoping this woman comes out of hiding. So she said, what do I do now? I said, I guess you just check out and leave. It's okay. So as she, you know, checked out and walked to the car, she said to me, Liz, she's there. I said, what do you mean? She's at my car. She's standing between my car and the shadows. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, you need to run. And at that moment, it became very, very high emotion. I said, run inside, Sarah. Now you've got to run inside. And she's huffing and puffing. And she said, where do I go? And I said, I guess go by the register. Go where it's light. Go where people are. And, you know, I can hear her kind of running through the store, and I don't know where to go. And I said, Sarah, I don't, just run. And it was really high drama.
And at this point, she had lost FaceTime.
So after we said to her, Sarah, go hide, go hide, go hide. I don't know where to tell you. I mean, at that moment, in hindsight, again, it sounds like not real. Like, how did you not know? But at that moment, I felt like her life was in my hands. I'm telling her where to go. And what if I tell her to do the wrong thing and she encounters this woman? So now she says to me, the woman is chasing her and she has a gun. And, you know, she manages to evade her and she's hiding. And then the phone goes dead. And we are panicking. And the husband is kind of communicating with Brian saying, I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm here with the baby. And for about a minute and a half that seemed like 4 hours, she then got in touch with us. And she said, they have her. I said, what does that mean? She's in custody. I've been shot. She said, I'm okay. She said there were 7 victims? 7 victims. And no, everyone is fine. She said, I was shot in the knee, and the police don't know if the bullet grazed off of a shelf. It was very detailed. Very detailed. I'm in the ambulance. I'm on my way to the hospital. James is going to meet me there. I'm like, oh my God, I just can't believe any of this happened. But she's in custody, and I'm like, oh, you're okay now, Sarah. You're okay. You're safe now. You're safe. It's over. You know, it's over. And we are just
I think it was
exhausted.
probably about 10 o'clock at night.
It was about 10 o'clock
And
at
it
night by
started
now.
probably around 4.
The phone call was 4. Yep. So now, you know, the shooter's in custody. Brian and I are just exhausted. Sarah's at the hospital. She hit us up at around midnight saying, hey, I'm getting checked out now. And had a picture. Here's my stitches. Here's my wound. I mean, bruises everywhere. You know, and, you know, you can see, you know, where the wound is stitched. And she said, I have great news, though. What's that? The doctor said I can still participate in the triathlon in 3 weeks. And what did I say? You are amazing. You are incredible. I can't believe that you would say that. You've just been through hell, and you're so focused on this event. I'm like, you're a rock star. Because, you know, that's what you do. You know, I was like, you're just amazing. You know, constant with the accolades and the encouragement. And, you know, we went to bed that night just exhausted. And she messaged us first thing in the morning, 5:30. She was always up very early. And she said, how are you doing? And I said, I'm not good. I'm exhausted. I said, that was really hard. I said, Sarah, I mean, I felt for a while there that your life was in my hands. You know, I didn't know where to tell you to go. You know, and she's like, but you're like a sister to me forever. You know, you saved my life. And I thought, Sarah, I mean, I'm exhausted. You know, and again, we later found that she did do this deliberately, the stalking thing, because she knew I'd lived through a similar situation, and she knew that was traumatic for me at 19, having a friend be shot, you know.
And her reasoning was, because we were saying to her husband, like, well, you should come down. Like, so now we're inviting him down. And so she made up this story to get us off of trying
Right.
to get James to come down.
So she had been invited to our friend's wedding, and we said, Sarah, you'll come down and bring James. We can't wait to meet him. We feel like we know him already. We can't wait to meet him. You know, I don't know how to explain the level of just emotional, mental, physical exhaustion. And we just sat there, and, you know, at this point, I said to Sarah, you know, this is so strange because I don't see any news about this shooting. And she said, well, you know, it's a bigger investigation because the shooter had a checkered past and is apparently under investigation for something else, possibly, you know, an aunt's murder that was unsolved. And I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. And
But that was, you were starting to get just a little bit of suspicion.
something
I
didn't.
was, for
yeah.
sure. I
Oh, you
remember,
were.
I remember, and I think it was that day, I remember I said to Liz, I said, you know, do you even think she has cancer?
No, you said
Or-
chemo brain. You said you think she has
No.
chemo brain. And I got mad at him. Because chemo brain is a thing. Things get
Right.
fuzzy. And I was upset. And I said, how could you even say that about our friend? How could you say that? But when he said that in the back of my head, I'm like, things don't really sound right. So we called up a friend who's in law enforcement at a higher level, we'll say. And I said, can I call in a favor? I need to phone a friend. And I said, here is what allegedly happened. Can you make some phone calls and see if this happened? And within, 3 minutes he called back. He said, no. I said, what do you mean no? He said, that never happened. I said, but what if it was part of a bigger investigation and they wanted to cover up? He's like, it doesn't work that way. You can't just cover up a shooting in Illinois where 7 people were shot.